Toasters, you were riding a little close to that orange truck before. Tailgating. How do you say tailgating in Japanese?
Tail?
Tailgating, when you drive too close to the car.
車間距離
Shakanguri?
距離
Shakanguri.
If I now say, I remember when I lectured at the Women's Club in Los Angeles, I'm implying I am no longer there and am where I want to be. Remembering when you were poor, I've taken you out of poverty and placed you in comfort. I remember when you were sick, by taking you out of sickness and placing you in the state of health. I remember when you were unknown, implies you are now known. By changing my memory image of you, I can now remember when you, with all your fame and fortune, were unknown and broke. From Neville Goddard's 1969 lecture, Believe It In. And here we have another simple way that Neville uses a tool to help you harness your imagination, to remember when you were something you didn't want to be or didn't want to have, as a way of becoming what you want to be and to have what you want to have. What is something that you want to remember? Neville goes on to say, if you would say, I remember when I couldn't afford to spend $400 a month for rent, you are implying you can well afford it now. The words I remember when it was a struggle to live on my monthly income implies you have transcended that limitation. You can put yourself into any state by remembering when. You can remember when your friend expressed her desire to be married, by remembering when she was single. You are persuading yourself that your friend is no longer in that state, as you have moved her from one state into another. Isn't that such a wonderful way that Neville teaches us to be able to move states, not only for ourselves, but for anyone? So it's a habit we can acquire. When we catch ourselves upset about something we don't want, or we hear another upset since we're all connected and intermingle, helping ourselves helps others, helping others helps ourselves. So whatever suits you best. I remember when I had to remind you to use this technique, but now I don't anymore because you use it. You made it a way of your life, such a simple technique. And Neville talks of another way of assembling a mental state, taking a friend or friends and having them hear your good news in your imagination. What would your friends say, whatever it is you want to be or have? What would a true friend or friends of yours say about you or to you? You know your friend or friends' voices, and you can hear their voices congratulating you. You can take it a step further and feel their handshake or pat on your back or embrace, and know that you did the good work. Go about your day in faith. Do the best you can. You did it. How many people know of this law? How many people actually practice it? How many people actually make it into a habit? You've come this far, you're still here. You are the living example, the chosen one. You've done it, you're doing it, and you will continue to do it, until all of hell and purgatory are heaven, heaven within, gracefully flected without, beyond words. Neville says, if you believe in the horrors of the world as they are given to you in the paper and on the television, your belief causes the horrors to continue. Believing the news of a shortage, you will buy what you do not need blindly, accepting the pressure to perpetuate an imaginal activity that keeps you frightened. If you feel time has passed and you're still not the person you want to be or have the things that you want, somewhere it's being perpetuated. Often we might not even realize it. So may we even be more refined in what we give our attention to, especially when it comes to things like the news, until your mind is strong that nothing can shake you, because you know by your own personal experience that imagining creates reality. Neville goes on in this lecture to talk about the power of the mind, that we can't stop anyone, even a prisoner in his own cell. His thoughts can go out to disturb the world. As we are all connected, Neville says, start now to become aware of what you are thinking, for as you think, you imagine. Only then can you steer a true course to your definite end. If you lose sight of that end, however, you can and will be moved by seeming others. But if you keep your mind centered in the awareness of dwelling in your destination, you cannot fail. So now you see why it's important to understand these truths, to put them into practice, to have a vision, to bring to life until you come to know who you are and wake from the dream of life. Because if you don't use your imagination actively for the things you want, you become vulnerable to be used by imagination for things you might not want.
Where does it call to? Hello? Oh, there was a voice. A recorded voice. Oh, there's my hubby.
And Neville talks about people often have the habit of wanting to talk about their problems, ruminate over them, or try to come out with the how, but then Neville has to rub all that out. The starting point is a clear desire. And once you know the truth that imagining creates reality, you will never allow yourself to dwell on problems, he says, because if you do, you perpetuate them. Whatever your problem is, what do you desire instead? Get clear. And that's what you learn to replace ruminating over problems with, focusing on the feeling of being and having what you want. It may seem foreign, and you may even feel part of you rebel against it in the beginning, or for some time. But that's what it takes, and you have it within you. In closing, Neville says, "So I tell you, the greatest thing you can do is to believe a thing into existence, just as our founding fathers did. They had no current example of democracy. It existed in Greece centuries ago, but failed, because the Greeks changed their imaginal activity. We could do that too. Don't think for 1 second we have to continue as a democracy. We could be under dictatorship within 24 hours, for everything is possible. If you like democracy, you must be constantly watchful to keep its concepts alive within you. It's the most difficult form of government. A man can voice an opinion and stage a protest here, but in other forms of government he cannot. If you want to enjoy the freedom of a democracy, you must keep it alive by being aware of it. And just like everything, Neville teaches, to keep something alive, be aware of it. When you want something to fade, take your thoughts off by focusing on what you want instead. And I know sometimes this is challenging for people, but just like any skill, practice will make perfect, you'll get stronger. And when you start to have your breakthroughs and your successes, all that Neville has and other great mystics, so will you. It's your destiny. It's our destiny. So what do you want to keep alive in your awareness? And how timely all this is, and things we never thought we would be seeing today. But everything is possible in imagination. What have we brought alive in our awareness? If we don't like it, what do we want instead? Let us put our awareness there right now. And with that, and now let us go into the silence. Good.
But here we are, children. Get on. This one. Oh, kawaii. Step back from the shirt. What are you wearing today, Mr. Mm-hmm? Can I get up? Mm-hmm.